change. What does it feel like? What does it look like? Why does change have to come? There's a very common phrase that many people say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And yet those very same people are often the ones that are in line at Apple hurrying to get the latest and greatest iPhone, or the ones that just finished their lease on their car and they're excited to get the new one, or the ones that have that new restaurant that just opened up by their house and they're excited because they can try something new they've never tried before. The reality is this: change isn't actually the problem. The problem is how the change makes you feel. Does it make you feel good, bad, ugly, beautiful? Obviously, all of this talk about change is inspired by my favorite season finally being here. The leaves, the temperature, the wind. But I think my favorite part about fall has got to be its harsh yet beautiful way of expressing change. I mean, think about it. The leaves are actually dying. They're dying. They're being cut off, they're being removed, they're being separated. Things are changing, things are moving, things are shifting, and that makes people uncomfortable. And yet, look at how beautiful God made all of that look. I mean, so what does change look like? Death and beauty. What does it feel like? Empty and yet free. Why does change have to happen? So something bigger, something stronger, something greater can be born. And on that note, welcome back to Life with Jalen.
Welcome back, everybody, to Life with Jalen, where we have real talk with real people about real life. We talked about where this channel came from in the pilot episode. We talked about why it wasn't, and then we talked about why it was again. And today we're going to talk about where it's going and what to expect and what changes are coming along with it. So let's just get right to it. Let's get started. Let's dive right in. So on the topic of change, first thing, it's fall, y'all. It's fall, y'all. And this is probably the only time you'll ever hear me say the words y'all. That is definitely a Southern thing, not meant for people from Maryland. But yeah, it's fall, y'all. Super excited. I love fall. Fall is my favorite season. I love all the seasons. I really do. But it's just the reality that I don't like extreme heat and I don't like extreme cold, so that automatically takes out summer and winter. And then spring, that leaves spring. The problem with spring is allergy season with all the pollen, and there's a lot of rain showers. And I love being outside, so when it's raining all the time, can't really be outside. So yeah, fall takes the cake. Not only because of that, just because of everything that it brings. I love the seasonal food. I love Thanksgiving. It's one of my favorite holidays. I love pumpkin and spices and cinnamon and all that. I love hot chocolate. I love bonfires. Bonfires are always a good move unless it's 95 plus degrees outside, and that's uncomfortable. Nobody wants that, because then you're sitting there and you're hot by the fire and you're sweating already. Like that's gross. No one's about that. So yeah, all that to say, I love the fall season. And I'm also a layers guy. I love having layers. So you'll constantly see me like with a denim jacket or another coat or a sweater with something. Like I love layers. So like it's just fall. It's amazing. Fall is the best. So yeah, fall is fantastic. And one thing with fall specifically is I think it has some of the most visible changes that you see when it comes to the seasons. Spring and summer's change is very subtle. Fall and winter's change, other than the temperature decrease, is also very subtle. Winter and spring is you see the flowers blooming, but again, it takes a while for it to start. So it's subtle. But I think you can almost always clearly tell as soon as fall starts, because you start looking at the trees. And the leaves start changing colors, and the trees start becoming more and more bare as the time goes on, and you can visibly see the change that happens in fall. And specifically on the topic of change, I've never been one that was extremely bothered with change. I've understood that it's something that happens in life, that it's something you can't really avoid. And I've never been bothered by it. I tend to embrace change more than most people I've talked to that don't like change. Not more than most, just more than most that don't like it. And I don't mind change. I'm the type of person, after about a month or 2 months, I'm going to rearrange my living room or my bedroom or my office area or my desk workspace because I want to change it up. Like, I like change. And the reality of it is everyone does. Whether they say they don't or not. They love change. They like change. They appreciate change. The reality is people don't like bad change. They don't like uncomfortable change. They don't like sad change. They don't like it when something's taken away that they want to keep. They don't like it when something's given to them that they don't want. That's the kind of change that people don't like. But if it was a positive change, if you would make $25,000 a year and your boss comes to you and says, we're going to increase your pay to $50,000 a year, that's change. And I'm pretty sure there's not one person in the world that'd be like, oh my Lord, no, I can't live like this. That's too much money. Lord, take it back. You've blessed me beyond oh God, help. Like, no one's going to be like that. And I mean, there might be one or two people, but I really feel like there would be a lot of people like sad of that change. So it's the negative changes that come, the bad changes that come. And the biggest thing about change, good or bad, ugly or beautiful, happy or sad, whatever the case may be, the biggest thing about change is based on your perspective. Because let's do an example here where two people are experiencing the same exact thing, but perfect example, personal example. I remember when I moved out from my house where I grew up as a kid. It was my mom's home, and I finally moved out. And I remember her. She was like, oh, I'm going to miss my baby. Oh, glory, Lord, help me. You're going to need to give me strength. I'm going to miss him. And she was very emotional about it. And hi, Mom. Hope you're watching this. She was very emotional about it. Obviously, she was a mom. It was a single-parent home. It was just me and her, only one child. So it was us her entire life. So it was a big thing for her. And I understood that. So she was very emotional about it. It was hard for her to process and deal with. Me, for example, I was like, woohoo, I'm moving out. This is going to be exciting. This is going to be pumped. I was thinking like all the more space I had, the ability to change and do whatever I want. Or like the big thing I was thankful for was I had to commute 30 minutes to and from church/work every day. And now my new place was going to be like 5 minutes from the church. So I was like, yo, this is going to be great. So there was a lot of positives for me. I didn't cry about moving out. I wasn't emotional in that sense of saddened almost by moving out. My mom was. We were experiencing the exact same change, but our perspectives of the change was different. My mom was seeing her son leaving. I was seeing the apartment I was gaining. And so the perspective was different. And that oftentimes is what happens with us with change. It's just a matter of the perspective. And I'm saying all that to say, it is possible to embrace and accept and make the best of any change that comes in your life, any positive change, any negative change. It's all about your perspective. It's about finding the good in those moments. And that's exactly what my mom did. She no longer started seeing it as I'm losing my son. She saw it as he's gaining this whole new world. Or she was like, I'm gaining my whole house. I could do what I want. I got all these 5 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. I'll do what I want with it. And she ended up setting it up to rent, and she made money off of it because she was able to, instead of her just paying for the house, she had people coming in to rent. So it was a blessing for her. So there was things she started to do to change. And she loves traveling, and she would always travel with me because she would feel bad when she left without me because I lived in the house. But when I didn't live in the house, she didn't have to worry about me, so she was able to travel more. So it was like she started to find the positives. And I'm saying that to say that's with anything in life we experience. The change is going to come. The good change, the bad change, the negative change, the positive change, the up change, down the change, it's going to come. It's just a matter of the perspective that you're going to have with it, and what are you going to do about it? Are you going to reject it? Rejecting change is the most ludicrous thing you could possibly do. It's just the reality of rejecting change. Here's what it looks like. Change is coming. Change is going to happen. And you decide you're going to reject it. All that's going to do is cause you to be frustrated with situations, disappointed with circumstances, oppressed and depressed because of the way life is or is not. And you're going to reject the change, and you're just going to sulk in it and live in it and just decide I don't like this and I don't have to embrace it and I don't have to accept it and blah, blah, blah. And like, well, that's not going to do you any good. You're going to be sitting there wishing something was different, wishing something was better or greater or whatever. And it's not going to do anything. So here's what you can do with change. You have two options. You can embrace the change, or you can change the change. You can change the circumstance. You can change the situation. You can change whatever it is, the dilemma, whatever situation that you find yourself in. Let's talk about embracing the change. You embrace the change. That means you don't like how something's played out. You don't like how something's going. Maybe it's something you're involved in, something you're doing. You can decide to reject the change and go frustrated and irritated and go nowhere, or you can decide to embrace it and accept I can't change that, because there are some situations in life you cannot change. There are. Well, you could. Let me put it this way. You can change any situation in your life, but if you are trying to live your life the way God wants you to, or trying to do the things he's called you to do, or be the person he's called you to be, or do the things that he's called you to do, go to the places he's called you to go, all of that, if you're trying to do that, there are some things and some times when you cannot make something change. If you're frustrated with a ministry, if you're frustrated with a situation or that the Lord has placed you in, you can decide to change and leave it, or to abandon it, or just not participate in it. But if that's where God is calling you, for whatever reason he's calling you there, then that rejection of that change is going to hinder you and not help you. So those are the moments when you embrace the change. If you can't change it, if you don't want to change it, then simply embrace it. Accept that that's the way that it is, and that's the way that it has to be, and that's the way it's going to be, and find a way to be the best version of yourself in that moment, in that season, in that situation, in that change that you possibly can do. Don't just sit back and decide you don't have to like it. I mean, you don't have to like it. You don't. But find a way to make the best of it, because you sitting there deciding, I'm not going to like this, and this is, it's not going to do anybody any good. So embrace the change. Or if it's a situation when you can change something about it, you can change the situation, you can change the circumstances, you can change whatever it is, then change it. Do what you can to change it. A friend of mine posted on social media like a week, I guess it was about a month ago now, posted on social media. Oh, I should have wrote this down. It was basically saying that anything you do not change, you are choosing. Anything you aren't changing, you are choosing. That was the gist of the quote. And I ended up texting them and saying, "Yo, this just changed my life. This is so powerful." And like, I don't think they wrote it. I think they found it, but I've never heard of it before. And I was like, this is so just, I was shook. I was like, wow, this is so profound. Like, think about it. Anything you are not changing, you are choosing. If you are not trying to change that situation, you are deciding, I am going to let that be where I am, or I'm going to let that be who I am. I'm going to let that be what I'm doing with my life. If you are not trying to change it, then that is your choice. You are choosing that. And so if you're making that your choice, you might as well make the best of it. And so I went to the Lord with this. Like, I lie to you not, this like quote like shook me, because there was just different situations, and I was kind of frustrated with where life was at and what I was doing and what I wasn't doing. And I was kind of, by this point in life, I was expecting to have different things going on and be in different areas. And the Lord's still been good, and he's opened, awesome doors. But I was expecting things to be a little different in some areas by now, and they weren't. And I was at that point where I was deciding I'm just going to be frustrated with it. I was like, I'm just going to not like it, and I'm just going to not embrace it. I'm just going to reject it and say, I don't have to like this. And I saw that quote, and I just realized I am choosing this circumstance. I am choosing this because I'm not doing anything about it. And then I was praying to the Lord, and he was revealing to me how there are some circumstances, obviously, that he has put me in. But it's the same concept. I can either decide to just stay in that, not change anything, or I can change my perspective of it. I can change the way I embrace it. I might not be able to change this circumstance, but I can change my attitude towards it. Might not be able to change the situation, but I can change my perspective of that situation. And that's exactly what I did. Because here's the reality. If you don't like it, this is what it comes down to. You ready? Get your pens and papers out. Get your iPhone notes. This is it. This is the bread and butter. All this watching all this, listening to all this so far for this point right here. If you don't like it, change it. If you can't change it, then embrace it. Because if you don't embrace it, then you won't like it. And the cycle is going to just repeat itself and repeat itself, because if you don't like it, you then change it. And if you can't change it, embrace it again. And cycles like that, and expecting something different, you're just going to be insanity. That's the definition of insanity. So why not break that cycle where if you don't like it, change it. And if you can't change it, then simply decide right here is where it stops. I can't change the situation. I'm going to embrace it and make the best of it. Because the bottom line is this: change is going to happen. It's inevitable. It's unavoidable. You can try to run from it. You can try to hide. You can try to ignore it, but it's going to happen nonetheless. The good change, the bad change, the change you embraced, or the change you encouraged and enforced, and the change you had nothing to do with, nothing to say about it. It just happened, and that's going to happen in life. But it's a matter of just deciding to make the best of it. And if you can change it, change it. The situation, the circumstance, whatever it is, the change. If you can change it, change it. If you can't change it, then embrace it and find the positives in it. Find the good stuff in it. Do what you can to make it better. Because not liking it and rejecting it and deciding to refuse it isn't going to do you any good. I'm speaking from experience. I might be young, but the things I do talk about, it's because I've lived them or am living them. And I was literally reaching a point where I was deciding to just be frustrated and irritated because I didn't like certain situations, and it wasn't doing me any good. It wasn't doing me any favors, and I was worse off for it. And I finally decided, you know what, God, you've got me here. You're allowing this. I'm going to stay here, and I'm going to do the very best I can to be the best version of myself that I can be in it. Because there is so much beauty in change when you realize that and when you embrace it. There's so much beauty to it. I already said, what does change look like? It looks like death, but it also looks like beauty. What does it feel like? It feels empty. Look at the trees. The trees are falling. The trees are barren. The trees are they're alone, but they're free. They have so much space and so much more room for future growth, more leaves and more fruit and more vines, more branches to grow, because there's now room. So there's this freedom in change. Why does it have to come? So something new, something stronger, something greater can be born, can be created, can be started. And all of that to say about change, not only to just hopefully help somebody out there who's listening or watching, and with any situation going on in your life with change or situations that have arose or whatever it is, not only to help that, but also, like I said, the original purpose, the original purpose of this video, purpose was the word I was going for there. The original purpose of this video was to share a little bit more about where this channel is going and what changes to expect with it. So thank you for listening to all of that. I hope it helped somebody and benefited somebody. I'm going to take a couple more minutes to talk about the changes coming to this YouTube channel, to this podcast, to this whole ordeal. But thank you all for listening so far. I hope it's, like I said, I hope it's helped someone like it's helped me. And that we all together can learn to just make the best of the circumstances that life throws our way sometimes, because sometimes we can't change it, so we need to embrace it. But if we can change it, do something about it, or you are literally choosing to do that, be that, go there, live that out. But yeah, so moving on to the changes that are coming to the channel. So basically, I'm going to answer real quickly 3 simple questions that will explain where this channel is going, when this channel is happening, and who and what to expect on this channel. Those were the 3 questions, if you can figure it out: when, where, and who/what. So starting off, when can you expect a new upload? When? How frequent? Are we talking daily? Are we talking weekly, monthly, yearly? Well, hopefully it's not yearly, because if that's the case, I need to get a new calendar, because I did one last week and then I'm doing one this week, so I've already messed up the yearly thing. So good thing is that's not the plan. So I was thinking about it. I was praying about it. Like I said, I've been preparing. I cannot talk tonight. I've been preparing for this whole new launch and restart for some time, and so I've been giving a lot of thought and a lot of prayer. And I was like, Lord, when should I do this? How much should I do it? Do I do it once a month? Do I do it once a week? Do I do it every day? Like, what do I do? Because I wanted to have something to share that was quality content, but at the same time, I didn't want to be so like non-frequent that no one's really paying attention. So I was like, when do I do it? When do I do it? When do I do it? And I felt I needed to do it every week. And then very quickly I was like, well, what day? And it was so clear. And I was so excited because it just made so much sense. And all the cool phrases started popping in my head. Mondays matter, made for Mondays, Monday motivation, Monday madness, Monday monstrosity, Monday ministry, Monday, like all this random stuff. And I was like, yes, Monday. For one main reason, so many times we get caught in these Monday mindsets. Ooh, someone tweet that. Mundane Monday mindsets. That's exactly what happens to everyone. The weekend's gone. We now got to go back to work. We've got to go back to school. We've got to take our tests. We've got to do this and that. We've got to blah, 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 blah. And we just get caught up in the mundane Monday. And we're like, this is no good. I don't want to do this. I don't want to be here. And we end up rejecting it. Why? Embrace Monday. It's a new opportunity. It's a clean canvas. It's a new day. It's your opportunity to go and reach your campus, your school, your work, your coworkers. It's an opportunity to change your world, to make a better week than you had last week. Embrace your Monday. And that's why I wanted to do it on Mondays, was because it gives someone something to look forward to. Not saying you're all going to be like, oh my God, I cannot wait. Jalen's coming back. This is so exciting. I am just so pumped. And Jalen's going to be back. Ladies and gentlemen, are you excited for Jalen? Yeah. It wasn't gonna be like that. I wasn't saying it like that. I'm saying it like, if I can help make someone's Monday better, I want to do that. And if it's by me uploading every Monday, then I'm going to do that because I want people to have the best week they can. I want people to have the best Monday they can. That's the start of your week. That's the start of a clean slate for you for those next few days. So make the best of it. And so I'm planning on doing this. The hope and plan and expectation, literally, unless the Lord says stop for some reason, or something literally comes up like an illness and I just can't, or something happens and I've got to go somewhere, whatever the case may be. My plan and hope and desire is to post every week on Mondays. So you all can expect something on a Monday and have something to look forward to on a Monday. And so that is the plan for the win. Talked a lot longer about that than I planned. I apologize. Moving on. Where? Is this going to be in my studio every time, or my office, should I say? Is this going to be in my car? Is this going to be at an event, at my home, at an office, wherever? Where can we watch it? YouTube, IGTV, blah, 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 blah. Very simple. The where will always change. Always. Last week was in my office. This week's in my office. I already know next week's not going to be. So it's going to change every week depending on the situation, depending on the video, the content. So that location is going to change. So it's something new. You never know what you're going to expect. And also the where, one thing you can expect is it'll be on pretty much every platform because, like I said, I want to reach as many people as I can, not so I can see numbers and feel like I've done something, but because the reality of it is everyone doesn't have everything. Not everyone has social media. Not everyone has podcasts set up. First of all, not a lot of people like audio only. They want to see something, and not a lot of people will watch a 20-minute video, but they will very quickly listen to a 20-minute audio recording. And then other people, like my grandfather is one of them. He does not have social media, and he doesn't have Spotify. He doesn't listen to podcasts, but he has the internet. So if he wanted to watch it, pop up. I hope you're watching because I literally just gave you a shout out. Love you. If you wanted to watch it, he'd have to go to YouTube. So it's like I need it everywhere so anyone who wants to see it, wants to hear it, wants to watch it can. So it'll be literally everywhere. Instagram, clips on IGTV, Facebook. I'll post links and stuff to Twitter, YouTube. It'll be there. Spotify. It'll be there. iTunes. It'll be there. It'll be everywhere. So the big one that I want to talk about real quick, not going to talk long, but the one I'm excited to talk about is, excuse me, the who/what. Basically, who is going to be on this channel? What is going to be on this channel? And to answer that, I have a very simple phrase. Any and everyone, any and everything. Literally, my hope and desire is to get as many people on this as I can and as many different topics or subjects or whatever as I can, because I don't want it to be very specific. I want it to be diverse. I want it to be unique. I want it to constantly be growing and evolving. We're gonna have different people talking about different stuff. I already have a couple people lined up for some interviews where I will be asking them. They might be a moderator or a podcast person or a preacher, evangelist, a pastor, a youth pastor, a young person that's got a testimony or an experience in a certain ministry. Moderators, I think I already said that. Literally, like whoever, different people like that, different people in areas of expertise in a certain venue, creatives, influencers, literally with anyone and everyone. Just to keep it interesting and to get different perspectives on different things about life or about ministry, what have you. We're also going to do things like testimonies. I already have one lined up where it's a really awesome testimony about something that God did in someone's life, and they're going to be on here and they're going to be sharing it. And I might just ask a couple questions and guide it, but it's just going to be them talking about their story. We're going to have random talks like today where it's just me talking about maybe a certain topic like change, or maybe it's just me just talking to y'all. I might do like Instagram lives and record it. I might do Q&As, literally anything. And the other thing that's going to be fun is I'm going to do some co-host episodes where I just have some other friends or creatives that are just going to come and join me for this, and we're just going to have a good time. So it's just, there's so many different things you can expect. It's really hard to narrow down. But it's going to be awesome, and I'm super excited. So, all that to say, this is where Life with Jalen is headed, and I could not be more ecstatic about it. I am beyond pumped. I am beyond enthusiastic about it. It's a breath of fresh air, and I'm excited. It's going to be awesome. And I can already tell you, next week, you do not want to miss next week's podcast / YouTube video / IGTV. It's like literally, you don't want to miss it. It's going to be amazing. See, so like this is what I got to decide. Do I want to tell you and give you like on next week's Life with Jalen, you can expect a talking cat that plays the piano while standing on one foot, but you've got to come back next time to see it all. Like, do I want to do that, or do I want to just be like, next week it's going down? You need to get here. Don't miss out. Monday it's going down. It's going down. Like, which one? You know what? I think it's gonna change. It's gonna depend on the situation. It's going to depend on the circumstances. So, do I want to share this one? Yeah, you know what? Rewind that. But next week, you do not want to miss this episode. It is going to be a phenomenal episode. We have a very special guest, a dear friend of mine, Andrew Nielsen, who is going to be coming and joining us, telling his life story and something amazing that the Lord did in his life. And I'm not exaggerating when I say it is a truly life-changing story, and it helps any and everyone listens to it. And I'm super excited, and it is going to be awesome, and I cannot wait. But to hear, I literally would just love to tell you the story right now because I'm so excited about it, but I want him to tell it, so I've got to stop now before I say stuff I don't want to say. So if you want to hear his story, you got to join us back next week. But until then, guys, remember, keep it real.